Hello there, welcome back. In this video we're going to add the blog onto the home page. It's going to go right there and it's going to look fantastic. However, before we do that, let's do a couple of tweaks to this blog manage thing, if that's okay. There's just a few little things I'd like to do before we move on, okay? First thing is, pretend you never seen that because that was me having a practice run. Let's load up our blog controller, right? And you know where it says create here? I noticed that we've got this if statement. If update ID is less than 3, then unset page URL. Folks, that was for the CMS. We do not want that on the blog thing, okay? So we'll take that out, right? The next thing I'd like to do is open up the manage file. And I'm going to add a few extra columns onto this, okay? So let's see, we'll have, how about something like picture, date published, maybe, and let's have author, okay? And obviously we're going to have to do some stuff down here to get that all working, so here we go. I'll do the picture in a minute. The date published, well, I'll just echo that out. Date published. Okay, so what is the date published? Well, for this one, you know that it's a Unix timestamp, so I'm going to load up the time date module, right? And I'm going to say date published equals this, whoops, time date get nice date, and then that's going to be row date published, and the format I'm going to use mini, right? I want it to be quite small. There's a nice thing called mini, and I think that's going to look just fine. Author, nothing fancy there, so I might as well just say echo out row author. So if we refresh the page, you'll see that we've got a few more columns, and that is pretty cool. Next, I'm going to add a preview of the picture in here, okay, onto the table. So let's just say picture equals row picture, and then I'm going to say thumbnail name equals string replace the dot with let me get this right, what would it be? It would be underscore thumb dot, okay? And we do that to picture, yes indeed, sorry. And then I'm going to say thumbnail path equals base URL, and then it was blog pics, and then it's going to be thumbnail name. Okay, pretty easy, would you agree? Pretty easy, right? So that's the vibe. And let's have our image in here. Now, as I look at this autocomplete, I can see an alt thing here, and I'm thinking, man, maybe we should have added an alt field onto the blog. Maybe that's something you can do, you know, so that when people hover over the image, the text comes up and all of that. Well, you can build that if you want, but listen, man, it's just a tutorial, so I hope you'll forgive me if I just leave that. And I'm going to right here, I'm going to echo out the thumbnail path, okay? So that's the vibe. Now, I've added a few blog images. Actually, I haven't. Give me a second. I'm going to add a few blog images because I was testing this before coming on. So give me a second and we'll do that. Where on earth is it? Where on earth is it? CI shop blog pics, right? Okay. So I've added on a few images and a few articles and some text while you were away. So if we refresh the screen, it looks like this. Isn't that fantastic? It's all coming to life. It's fantasticola, okay? So that's the vibe. Oh, there's actually one more thing that I want to do. You know, when you look at any blog, Anderton's, where is it? Here we are, right? Or whether it be on Guitar or wherever it may be, you'll always notice that the most recent article goes to the top, right? It always goes to the top. The most recent article must always go to the top. So let's have it so that on our manage page, when we're doing get, we're not going to order by page URL. Let's order by date published descending. Okay, so if we refresh the page here, you'll see that everything moves around and the most recent one goes to the top. Okay, so that's the vibe. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, congratulations. I don't know who I'm clapping. Is it me or you? Anyway, let's add it to the home page. Okay, so to do that, we open up home page content, and on the bottom left hand side where all this blog stuff is, I'm going to take that out and echo modules run blog, and I'll say draw feed HP. HP stands for home page. I just made it up that minute, okay? So it's going to be a little feed thing, and it's going to go onto the home page. Now remember, what I've just done there is exactly the same, precisely the same as if I had gone in and said echo and did that, okay? So I'm just using a shorter version here. Look at how neat and tidy that is. It is so cool. It is the coolest. So here we go. We're on the blog controller, and I'm going to make a new function up. Draw feed HP. Now look out for that little underscore before the word draw. That makes it a private function, right? So that you don't have some crazy rock and roller heading over to blog /draw feed and they try and break the website, right? Anyway, to get this feed working, I'm going to do a little custom MySQL query. Actually, we don't even need to do that. We can just say, no, I am going to do a custom query, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the guitar thing, right? Anderton's, it shows you the first 6 articles. Now we don't want this showing about 200 articles. Actually, you could, if you were on some kind of crazy SEO crusade, maybe you could show all the articles. But for the purposes of this shop, we're just going to show a few as well. And in fact, I want to just show the most recent 3 articles. So we are going to do a custom query. It's going to go select all from blog, order by, date published descending, limit 03. Now remember, when you do limit 03, the first number is not the limit, it's the offset. Maybe they should have made this the other way around, okay? But basically it's the offset and the limit is 3. I'm showing the most recent 3 items. So now we just create a data variable called query, and that's going to be from a custom query using the query above, and then we just load up a view file. So feed HP passing in the data variable. Okay, now actually let me jump over to the Bootstrap website because there was something I wanted to show you. Do you remember this grid system thing here? Okay, with the rows and whatnot. Well, I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to create a new view file that's called feedhp.php, right? So that's inside the blogs module, obviously. And then I'm going to say for each query loading up result as row. Okay, so that's the vibe. And for each one, let me just paste in some stuff. So that is straight from the Bootstrap website, right? Let's just see what happens if we do this. We'll head over here and look at this. You see, now we may only be updating a part of the page, but everything still works. It kind of squashes it in, but don't worry, it's all cool. That's why they call them cascading style sheets. Do you know what I'm saying? Cascading, right? You can do that. You can have divs inside divs and all of that. It all works fine. So let's do a couple of changes. I'm going to change this one to 3 and this one to 9. Okay, and in here I'm going to load up the time date module again. Okay, and we're just about ready to go. Now this is going to be a pic here, and this is going to be some text here. So in here we'll have an H4, and we'll say row page title. That'll do that. And then in here I'm going to have the actual article itself going on, okay? So if we do something like row, page, content, okay? Let's have a quick look at this and see what's happening. So you can see that we are now echoing out the page title and the article, and you can see that the pic's going to go here. Now, just so you know what's going to be happening, and so you can kind of visualize this, I'm going to say style equals background color pink. I always do these crazy colors when I'm doing this so that when I look back I know that it was just for testing, you know. So check this, we have some backgrounds. Does that make sense? Is it all starting to make sense? I do hope so. So let's get this going. Now look, this is crazy. I mean, you know, we don't want a big giant article here, we just want a preview, right? We only want to show them a few, you know, few lines, not even a few sentences, you know, a couple of lines maybe. That's all we need, okay? So to get a preview, I'm gonna go into the Codeigniter user guide and you'll see that there's a thing called the text helper, okay? We're going to use the text helper. The text helper is a very super cool thing. And look, I'm adding it onto the controller, okay? Because at all times we're trying. We can't do it perfect all the time, but we're trying to keep the view files as clean as possible. So I'm going to add this text helper onto the controller, right? And then I'm going to borrow a thing here, which is called word limiter. Do you see that? Can you handle the vibe? And this is going to go on to, let me just see, feed. Here we go. Here we go. And I'm going to say article preview equals word limiter. Now, what's the string? Well, that's going to be row, page, content. And this here, this number represents the amount of words that we're going to show. So I'm going to show the first 25, right? Can you handle that? So we'll just show the first 25 words, and instead of showing the entire article, it's going to be article preview. So let's do that and hit refresh, and you'll see that it's kind of starting to come together. I think all we need to do now is sort the pick out, okay? So it's exactly the same vibe as we were doing before. Do you remember on the manage thing? Remember all of this stuff here? It's exactly the same stuff, okay? So why even waste time? I'm just going to paste this in like so. It's all a bit crazy, but there we go. And where we've got this pick thing going on, I'm just going to do that. And the source equals thumbnail path, okay? And I'll remove the alt thing. I apologize to the blind people out there for not adding the alt tag in. It's just a tutorial, and I encourage you to use alt tags, okay? Anyway, let's save that and let's hit refresh. Okay, it's kind of okay. It actually looks a bit crazy to me. Let's do a few more bits and pieces just to get this perfect, okay? There is a thing that comes with Bootstrap 3 that's, we've got this image responsive thing, which is very, very cool, okay? So I'm going to add that in to the image here. Let's do that. I'm going to save and then head on over, hit refresh. And do you see how it has squashed the image inside the div here, right? It's left a nice little bit of padding as well. That's okay. But do you see that? So that's kind of good, right? That was all thanks to the image responsive class, right? And actually, there's another class I'm going to add as well, if we can bring this up. Do you see this one that says class equals img thumbnail? That's kind of cool as well. Let me show you what this does. Okay, so the vibe is we just space out and paste in, and I'm going to save and keep an eye on those pictures, right? See that? It's added a nice little border. I think it's kind of cool. So just two things to do and this will be finished. I'm going to say style equals margin bottom. Let's do 12 pixels. We'll space them out a bit, right? So that's kind of cool. And now all we have to do is remove this background image thing. Okay, so if we do that, and that is not too bad. Actually, can you believe it? I forgot to put the headline in. Right, here we go. So check it out. Doesn't that look nice? Doesn't that look just fantastic? Now remember, you can make this look any way you want. You could very easily have it looking like this. I mean, you could have it pixel perfect. You could have it looking like this. You know, I've recently purchased a theme. I bought this the other day and I'm probably going to use it for the Insider Club, I think. And look at these, they look great. I mean, I think this is cool. Actually, I've just noticed it's got author and date here. Let's add that. That's going to be really cool. Absolutely. So let's do that. Right, okay. So we'll do a paragraph and we'll do style. And it was a bit smaller, right? So font size, something like 0.7 EM. Okay. And how did that work? Okay, so the author name was black, right? So we'll just go row author, something like that. Now let me just see how this looks. Let me just see. Okay, style. Okay, so I'm going to make this a bit bigger. 0.7 is maybe too small, you know, and that's probably too big. 0.8. Okay, that'll do. And we've also got author, and then we've got date published. Okay, and I'm going to use exactly the same stuff that we used on this manage thing here. Do you remember that? Do you remember that stuff? So we had date published coming in from the time date module. Remember all of that stuff? So we'll do that and we'll say date published, and that's cool. So let's just refresh. Yep. Not too bad. It's not too bad. Now it's got a little hyphen there in this thing, and the date published seems to be a different color. So I'll say span, let me get this right, style equals, that's how we like to do this, and we'll make this one style equals, how about color, and we'll do something like 999. Let's just see how that looks. Right, so refresh. Yep, that's okay. I think maybe if we make it a bit bigger. Right, that's cool. I am well happy with how this blog has turned out. And if this was a real one, actually, we'll do this just now, I would probably have the headline linking to the URL. Okay, so we'll have that going to a thing called blog URL, and up here we'll just declare that the blog URL is something like base URL blog / something like, I don't know, article / and the name of the field was page URL. So we could do that like that, and let's have a quick look. Yep. Oh, sorry. Blog URL equals, sorry, row page URL. There we go. And if we click onto one of these, look, see, it adds the nice URL. Everything is cool, and that is fantastic. Now, I'm not going to bother doing the actual blog pages themselves. You know how to do this. It's exactly the same concept as the store items thing. So we're passing and we are reading this URL and calling the article, okay? Maybe I'll do that in another video just to make this complete. But that's the blog. I think it's super cool. And thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.